Hello guys, this is a quick tour for the rig of Cat, one of Cubic Kip's rigs. This is just like a mannequin rigs for famous creatures like cats, dogs, etc. So as you might have seen in the demo reel, this is the animation that the cat comes with. Basically we have like this one. This control is just like layering the visibility of almost every part of the rig, so you can focus your animation on your animation while avoiding any cluttering unneeded. So the next layer of or level of visibility is on each limb. For example, on the neck you have like the master control visibility, neck FKs, neck offset, which needs FKs to be visible, and eye key controls. These guys, eye key offset control. This you might notice this black control, which is like the main layer of the rig. Eye key neck, and this is the second one. This one is the one that has like the spaces and such, and offset, next, secondary, proxy, and extra. So the same for the spine, the same for the tail. Tail only have like visibility of the secondary tweakers and such things. And for the legs, you have like I key offset, F key offset, etc. etc. So you can even hide on foot controls if you don't need to see these guys, and you can use this one yellowish cock-shaped control to hide elements of you know the toes rig, sorry, controls, and so on. So you can hide and hide parts. For example, you can hide many things. You can have a clean spine, and you can only have master F casing. That control does many things. It is not only limited to moving, sorry, rotation. It can move and combine with the stretch attributes and such. So for the neck, you have on this control you have the attributes for the rig, and for let me just hide this one. You have attributes for the spine, and here you have the attributes for tail, and on this cross shaped you have attributes for IK and so on. So speaking of uh, the neck, basically you have like attributes to decide if there is or there is not squash and stretch. By default, this comes as a 0. So if you decide to have like a stretch, let me just turn off the volume scene. So the basic stuff, it stretches. As you might see here, it is limited for stretching. This is because we enabled the limit stretch. So it just stretches the double of the length of original length. By default, I would keep this off. As you see here, this is the default, uh, length of the neck, and this is the limit minimum, so it doesn't go below the normal and do, does go double the amount. You can play with these guys if you want to limit the squash and stretch, but as I said, by default you would just keep this like you know you can just keep this unlimited by turning this off. So if we come back to the stretch unlimitedly, and if we try to squeeze, it doesn't. We need to enable squeeze thing, so it just squeezes, squash and stretch. But now we need a volume, so we can enable this guy. You can decide how much is the multiplier and a few other attributes. So I would keep these guys as is, because it is fine as is. If maybe you need to duplicate a value here, if you want like a more pronounced effect. And you can animate this over time, of course. So this is the squash and stretch for the head. Okay. And of course you have on the main one is like local world thing. If we move this, the head stay following. If we just make this local world, it just stays facing forward, and we can enable both these guys with stretchability enabled, so it will stay locked. And if you want to have like, you see the neck here is just staying, but with IK controls. This guy has attribute called follow FK. If we just turn this off, I will explain this in a short, so it will be kept straight, So let me explain what I mean by this. If we just unhide the AFK controls here, you see that we have this is like internally the FKs, and can translate this. By the way, FKs for the spine and neck not only resetable, they are movable. So you see, you can go crazy. But this implies that the neck will be curved when you are trying to use this master FK. So if we just unhide the IK controller, which is the middle one, this, so this control is following the FK. But if you want to keep the neck straight, we just zero this. So no matter how you rotate the neck, it will stay straight. Okay, we learn a lot of short time. Okay, so speaking again about the IK controls, we have like this one, the middle control. It's just having like a twist effect. You can turn this on and off if you don't like. Also, you have like a localized scale effect. For example, if you remember a few moments ago, we have done something just like this, and we don't like the volume. We need to increase a little bit without, over time. You can do this, or you can go like this, maybe more or less. So yeah, I think this is pretty handy. I know most of the rigs parts are not regular thing, but I believe that you can adapt pretty quickly. And you have local world here for the neck root. Actually, we have another interesting thing that sometimes you need to cheat for the camera. You need to have like to make create the feel that you are the cat is pretty close to the camera. So we have like palm scale, so the head is bigger, but this is like broken between the head and neck, so we can make like a full off. So we can increase the size, decrease the size of the head, like Jeeps in Men Black. So yeah, okay. So yeah, this is another thing. I believe that's it. You have like twist effects if you want to do stuff like adjusting over twisted shape. Barely need this. I believe that everything should be holding fine. And speaking of FK again, you have rotate order over everyone. You have like FK offset if you want to have like avoid gimbals and such. Okay. Since we spoke about the neck, we can move to the neck. Sorry, the spine. We have two controls. One main here and the second one. They are sharing the same pivot. Ignore the place of this guy here. this is helpful when you want to have like move up and down and maybe move up and down through this guy and do like rotate from here, you know, just keeps the channel box clean. Attributes are here the same as before, but for the spine we have different things, you know, little different. So FK master, you know, as before spine FKs, we have extra. We have like one for the chest. If we move here, we move the guys, and we can move everything. So we are not limited to rotation. We can move things around. So yeah, this is pretty handy. And you know, we have IK controls. Like before, we have two offset, you know, just for layering if you want to have this up and down like animation layer. And the other guy, but the behavior is the same. So basically, if you move this out of the box, it just rotates locally. But what if you want to have this having an effect of over the entire spine? You can decide here how much this will be affecting the spine. So yeah, you can have these guys moving with the chest control, and the same goes for the hip. So you can decide how much is affecting the hip. So you can simply and easily have like this arcade shape, uh, this and C shaped, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, for the in between, you have like a twist. This might, you know, mimic the jiggle or like weight shift the belly. Not pretty precise, but yeah, it's here. And again, we have like the scale area part. So you know, in addition to the built-in volume change, we maybe need to trigger this a little bit more. And if you just move this up and down, and need to tweak over time, so you can use these guys. And this one is like, let's okay, this one is having like a rotation effect. It carefully. Need to turn off the volume for a moment if you want to have like a complex shape on the fly. So I think that's it for the spine. Did I miss something? No. Oh yeah. Okay, so there is another thing which is the hip only control. Since if you move the hip control here, and you see that in either ways, uh, you know, either the basic or the other way, if you want to have this affecting the entire spine, in either ways you're still affecting the entire spine somehow. You don't isolate the hip. So if you want to isolate the hip entirely, you can use the hip only. So it only affects the hip. So it is pretty helpful when you are doing like walk cycles and such. So I think that's pretty much it for the spine and neck. Moving to the legs, the foreleg. No, by default, this guy comes here, you know. Have like on foot control if you want to modify thing. So if you move this, we have to offset controls like before. Okay, and this not affecting the upper one. If you want to allow, you know, like have this affecting in somehow. So if you rotate the lower one, you affect the upper one, you can choose to have so. So again, if we move this down, would have this one here. But if you want to have like bending here, yeah, you have like bending to be bent when this down. I believe that you would leave this as is and decide how much this how the shape would be like, look how the shape would look like using this smart control. I so the bottom line, I would keep the default values. I'm just demonstrating what could be done. If you have another decision. You know, so this is basically, and you have the root control here. So this is the root control, and these are the foot roll control. Still have on foot like. Let me just hide the toes. Yeah, so you focus on the leg. Yeah, I think that's much better. So the foot control, you have like these guys here. You can do this manually if you don't like the default roll, and you have banking, of course, mid here, bank, and so on and so forth. So the volume, lock heel, yeah, lock heel. If you enable this guy here and do something just like this, see the heel is locked. This is something else. Of course, you have like the palm scale and with fall off. Okay, but again, uh, here in the legs, the pivots of the rolls are not scaled up with the palm scale, so you choose to use this carefully, all your animation. And here is another thing is that you have like FK access to this part regardless being in IK or FK. And I believe this has like some kind of independent scale. So this is the one. I believe for the clavicle or scapula, sorry, we have something just like this. I mean, it's just this will be pointing always here, and you can decide to keep this independent. So it will be up and down only. Yeah. As to stretch, you can to have this stretchable if you like. Yeah. So this is the basic leg, IK, 4 leg to be specific, and of course you have the stretch, and FK stretch is like unlimited one. So if we turn this to an FK, I believe that we need to reset everything after this video. So if we set the to FK and try to use FK stretch, it is like this. You can go unlimitedly, and we have tricks for the FK. You just use this on the fly. This tool is, if you have like an, as we were saying, sorry, the recording, is interrupted. So if you have like, if you are importing this as a reference, you can decide select search and select from dynamic spaces. But since we don't have, we can only search for the characters in the scene, and it would recognize the cat normally. So for the 4A leg, we need to have like a reset, everything reset. So once we switch between IKFK, no change. We'll come back to this later. And again, we have like an FK offset. So let's hide the offset. I believe that we don't need the offset, but they are here. The FK has like a good thing. It has like persistent scale change attribute that can change the limb underneath persistently even you switch to IK. So this is a thing you can have change, and you can translate the FK like the spine and neck and move. So a lot of freedom. You can do like a brick joint and a lot of cartoonish stuff. Of course, this is beside the limb scale, the rotate order and such. So this is the FK, and we have like the spaces for the ball vector, just to let you know, you can decide. And we have some other hidden scenes, like the movable, have like a movable parts, movable control to move the elbows, and you can lock this to the wallet so it stays in place. And you can add a volume attribute here, volume attribute here. So once you have this, you have like pew 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 pew, something just like this, which is interesting. And besides, you have like the in-between controls, uh, pretty classic. But again, the thing you can turn off the secondaries here if you would like. You have the twist effect, local twist effect, just locally here if you want to adjust something. And you have the scale attribute here. You can locally and more specific effect here. So pretty handy, I believe. So this is for the 40 leg, yeah. Link control. This lollipop here, you know. If you just want to link something to the leg and it stays following the leg regardless being an IK or FK, so this is your choice. Just link to this control and move it. So it's just like the new parent for your 40 feet of the cat, and you know, consider that she is having like handling like a wall roll, you know, so or reel, sorry, a wall reel, yeah. So this is something to have in mind. The rear part is the same except it has like a different behavior. So you can decide to have the bending here. It is by default minus 0.5. So if we just more or less, you see this is bending pretty early, but if we keep this like 0, it doesn't bend at all. So minus 5 is just like best of both worlds, sorry, yeah. So, and of course you can override this and this. So I believe that's the only difference, yes. And for the fingers and toes, you know, we both have like I think IKFK thing. So let me toes visibilities. So basically it has like the magic one. So this just for creating poses on the fly. See? And since we have these guys, this means that you can have IK controls, and with the visibility here, the main you can decide to have this main. This control is handling the IK controls. So if we revert all the those to IK, so it's all IK like a 0. So we now have like saying absolute IK. So if we do like foot roll, it's following, but you still can modify. You're still able to modify these guys here. Have minor knuckles. For the FK, you have like can even in IK mode to decide not to follow the main. So and you can by translate, you have like stretch, can enable these guys here. So if we do this, you can do like stretch, scale on and off, and you have this visibility of these guys here. Secondaries, the tweakers. Can see tweak the shape of the side. I think this is not fine here, to be honest. But it's the character, it works fine. So I'm just explaining since they are already here. I believe that most of the time you'll be using the FK. Okay, I need the fingers back. My fingers. So the FK have like a regular scene. You can for real move this back here. So yeah, get back to me. So, and you are not only limited to this, you can scale up and down. And you have like scratch controls, which these red guys here. So pretty handy. And you have this one here, like the carving here. Okay, the same goes for the rear one. For the ears, I see this, let me just explain the important part. This are the IK controls if you want to use IK based setup. I believe you wouldn't, but they are interesting if you want to have like do some cartoonish thing. You have like this master F this FKs. I think this would be the most usable parts. And the root. So you can move the ears as the cat usually do. So yeah, this is for ears. I believe we have like a stretchability thing. Not sure if I remember this correctly. No, it doesn't, I believe. Okay, so for the tail, okay, this is something. Just I don't want to make things complex here, guys. If you just want to grab the tail and use these guys here and the FKs, so let be it. It's still FK. If you want to see the every secondary control, you can see the secondaries control here. See, so this is the regular thing. But if you want to like have a quick posing, just like this guy here, use the IK and IK offset, so you can just use the black, and this is for the offsetting. And once you boost in the proper way, you can use this guy to, do like carefully and do like a quick basic posing. And then you can use this guy here, like a spline IK thing. And you can use then, let me just hide the secondary FKs. Okay, again. So can use this for animating the parts and do like your follow-up and such things. It is just like this, no more. Once you understand the structure of the tail and how it works, what are the layers in order, just like I have shown you, it would be like this. But again, if you just want to stick to FK thing, so it's okay, no worries. So you can simply to rotate this guy here and do like if that would be super okay, no worries at all. So I believe that something here, it is just like IK control. Let me just show you something. If you want to have like a rolling, you can have like FK fall off. I'll go in details, but just do it like this. You can want to have like a roll in second. So you have like roll full of. So you see what I'm having here? You can roll over the lens regardless the pose you are in. So you can be just like this and it will roll over the lens. So you see, it is not so cattish thing, but it is here. It might help you with some tail expression, if I should say. You have like eye stretch, which means that if you grab this guy here, so it would stretch. If you, sorry, you need to stretch this, enable this first, and enable next the eye stretch. So you would have something just like this, eye stretch. So you can have like IK stretch here, and you might not have IK stretch on the IK, but you can have like if you try this out, so you can stretch over the lens, sneakish. Snackish, okay. Snakish, okay. Sorry. So these are of the few things of the hidden things here. You wouldn't bother yourself about the rest, but maybe in another video, if you like this, you can explain this a little bit more. I believe that's pretty much it for the rig itself. And let me reopen the file, fresh copy, to explore the tool. So basically this is a Python tool, you can run it and add it to your shelf the regular way. So I believe this does it. They need explanation. So here we go for the as I said before, if you just have like namespace because you're using reference and such, you can turn this on and select your the namespace of your cat. And if not, or in either ways, you can search here and it will recognize the cat in the scene. So if you see here, just like we have like this pose for the IK leg for a leg, you can use like first FK to IK to FK back. So just matching, can flip, can mirror, can reset. We can key entire limb, clear key entire limb. So as I was saying, because again it is interrupted. So yeah, was saying that you can select the entire limb, by just selecting these shapes here. You can use the spine, you can use the leg, you know, so feet, toes, and such. So not feet, I mean the leg, the entire leg. This is the toes, for everything, and for everything it is the same, IKFK, matching key, selecting. It's just like this, not that the ears and tail is not including. Sorry, they are not included. So for unfortunately for this version, they are not. However, you can find everything here. You can have like if you want to select everything, the ear controls. I like select these members and entire controls. You can select everything here. Because we have select everything here, you can select everything, key everything, reset everything. But if this time consuming for some reason, I need to check the tool itself. But if you have some issues with this, you can just select everything here. You just instantly selected everything. So I think that's pretty much it. Long video, I know, but as you see, this is kind of important. Rig maybe not as regular rigs in some parts, but I believe you'll be happy once you get used to this one. You know, Last thing, regarding the performance and such. By default, this will be coming like a smooth one on the master control. You have like the smooth one. You can have like low. Oh, okay. Books. Yes, this is books version. There is no low. So this is the bookset version. So if you want hyper speed, this is the books version. And you can turn this on. I'm just scrubbing the timeline, so in the record, as you see, it hits even 50, of the record, because the recording for some reason takes off some like frames, and you still can like high, but turn the smooth off and make the selectability of the rig. You can stimble it to see what I mean, like reference. So it still runs 40 pretty fast, you know. And you still, I think this is much more appealing as a cat, but I keep the smoothing because I'm not sure how guys would like the final shape. If we do you want to have this like a actual mannequin with not uh, accurate anatomy, but just uh, bars that represent the limbs and the body parts. So yeah, basically that's it. Hope that you like the rig. I know the video is not, well organized. It is just throwing too much informations, but I believe this would be helpful for you guys. Please let me know what you think, and if you have any requests, recommendation for future rigs, because I'm planning to have more. If you like this, of course, and have a nice animation. Thank you very much.